During the 9th century AD, the cold and desolate lands of Scandinavia were teeming with unrest. The long winters and scarce resources forced the Norse people to look beyond their borders in search of opportunities. Among them, a particularly fearless group decided to embark on an epic journey to the east. These men, known as the Varangians, were about to etch their names into the annals of history, driven by a thirst for wealth and glory. Imagine a winter night, the crackling of fires illuminating the determined faces of the warriors. Shadows danced on the walls of the longhouses as the Varangian leaders, men of great courage and wisdom, discussed their plans in hushed tones. They knew the journey would be arduous, but the promise of treasures and fertile lands was irresistible. As the discussions grew more intense, the rhythmic sound of hammers forging swords and shields mingled with the epic songs sung by the bards, inspiring the young warriors. The Drakars, the legendary Viking ships, were anchored in the frozen harbors, ready for the voyage. With their elongated hulls and carved dragon heads, these vessels were both works of art and war machines. The sails were hoisted, bearing symbols of runes and mythological animals, while the crews loaded supplies, barrels of mead, dried meat, warm furs, and of course, the weapons that would be essential for any combat that arose. The journey across the Baltic Sea was a test of endurance. The icy and unpredictable waters presented constant challenges. Violent storms, gigantic waves, and relentless winds tested the determination of the Varangians. But these men were masters of navigation and reading the signs of nature, using stars, currents, and even bird migrations to guide their way. Each storm they overcame was a triumph, further strengthening their indomitable spirit. When they finally sighted the eastern lands, their hearts beat faster. The Dnieper and Volga rivers stretched before them like pulsing veins, promising access to the riches of the interior. Navigating the rivers, the Varangians encountered local tribes, some peaceful, others hostile. Negotiations were made, alliances forged, and when necessary, battles were fought. The Varangians not only survived these encounters, but thrived, learning to adapt their tactics and strategies to each new situation. The rivers were not just pathways to wealth, they were also trails leading to the heart of a rich and diverse land. The landscapes transformed from dense forests to vast steppes, and the Varangians marveled at the diversity of flora and fauna they encountered. Each new village brought stories of gold, silver, and jewels, increasing the excitement among the men. As they advanced further south, the fame of the Varangians began to spread. Their prowess in battle, their skill in navigation, and their fearless pursuit of wealth caught the attention of the powerful Byzantine Empire. In Constantinople, the grand Byzantine capital, the emperor and his advisors began to see in these Norse warriors an opportunity. The Byzantine Empire, always in search of loyal and skilled soldiers to protect its vast territories and intricate internal politics, saw in the Varangians the perfect candidates. The arrival of the Varangians at the gates of the Byzantine Empire marked the beginning of a new era. These northern warriors, forged in battle and hardened by arduous journeys, were about to enter the service of the most sophisticated and powerful empire of the time. The encounter between the Varangians and the Byzantines would be the start of an alliance that would resonate through the centuries, leaving a legacy of courage, loyalty, and conquests. After weeks of sailing, facing turbulent seas and treacherous rivers, the Varangians finally laid eyes on what seemed to be a jewel of the East, Constantinople. This city, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, gleamed with a majesty the Norsemen had never seen. Golden towers, gleaming domes, and imposing walls rose before them, promising unimaginable riches and epic adventures. The Varangians' longships glided through the waters of the Bosphorus, and the warriors' eyes widened at the sight of the city's grandeur. Constantinople was not just a city, it was a bustling metropolis, where merchants from all corners of the world gathered, where streets were paved with polished stones, and where the scent of exotic spices filled the air. It was the pulsating heart of an empire spanning 3 continents. The first encounter between the Varangians and the Byzantines was marked by a mix of distrust and curiosity. The Byzantines, with their luxurious robes and shining armor, watched the Norsemen with interest. The Varangians, in turn, were fascinated by the riches and sophistication of the Byzantine court. It didn't take long for the emperor to be informed of the arrival of these northern warriors. The emperor, always eager to bolster his ranks with the finest warriors, ordered the Varangians to be brought before him. The imperial audience was a spectacle in itself. The emperor's throne, adorned with gold and precious stones, dominated the room, while advisors, guards, and dignitaries watched every move of the newcomers. The Varangians, led by their chief, entered the room with steady steps. Their gazes met the emperor's, a man whose presence exuded power and wisdom. He rose and with a magnanimous gesture, invited the Varangians to approach. The leader of the Varangians, in a respectful tone, explained their intentions, to offer their services as mercenaries in exchange for wealth and glory. The emperor listened attentively, his eyes gleaming with interest. He immediately recognized the value of these warriors. Reports of their martial skills had already reached his ears, and he knew that including the Varangians in his forces could change the empire's destiny. After a brief deliberation with his advisors, he made an offer. The Varangians would be welcomed as part of his personal guard, the famous Varangian Guard. The Varangian Guard, known for its unwavering loyalty and unmatched courage, was an elite unit tasked with protecting the emperor and the imperial family. For the Varangians, this was a unique opportunity. Not only would it provide them with riches, but it would also bestow upon them an honor few could achieve, to be the protectors of the most powerful man in the world. The Varangians accepted the offer enthusiastically. Thus began a new phase in their lives, a phase that would take them from the austere cold of their homelands to the resplendent halls of Byzantine palaces. Over time, these Norse warriors would not only prove their worth in battle, but also integrate into Byzantine society, learning its language, customs, and culture. The encounter between the Varangians and the Byzantines was more than just a mercenary contract. It was the beginning of a cultural and military symbiosis that would strengthen both sides. For the Varangians, it meant the realization of their dreams of wealth and renown. For the Byzantines, it represented the addition of a relentless and loyal force to their army, a force that would play a crucial role in the battles and intrigues that would shape the empire's future.